Welcome to Supernormalized. I'm your host, CJ Barnaby, and I like to challenge what's considered normal and invite people just like you to share your story, wisdom, and truth. Each week, I explore deep healing modalities, supernatural abilities, spiritual contact, and the often unexplained, whilst leaning into acceptance, personal growth, and real healing. If you're ready to step into a world where your story matters, you're in the right place. Enjoy finally being supernormalized. Today on Supernormalized, I'm talking with Michelle Phillips. She's had an extraordinary personal journey, very spiritual journey. She's a gifted psychic medium, healer, and teacher who's been consciously connected to Source since birth. From knowing God as her true mummy and daddy in childhood to spontaneously accessing past lives at age 3, Michelle's path is unlike any other. She's been guided by Jesus as her personal mentor beyond religion and has travelled through dimensions of light and shadow, healed deep ancestral wounds and channeled transformative DNA-activating books. And even collaborating with her son from the spirit realm. We'll explore what it means to awaken as a galactic shaman in this episode as she navigated dark nights of the soul to reclaim her multidimensional self. Michelle's work blends ancient wisdom with cutting-edge energetic healing, from DNA heart map healing through Akashic records to releasing karmic contracts and ancestral patterns. Her story invites us all to become masters of creation, co-creating heaven on earth, which really resonates with me. Now, stay tuned for the insights on transforming shadow into light. She offers a mantra which actually helps with healing anything that she's found, and also has offered for us a what do you call it? Like a daily spiritual prayer that actually assists you in alignment with your own personal path for co-creation as well. Now, if you're new to spiritual awakenings or deep into your journey, Michelle's wisdom holds keys to unlock your highest potential. And if you're ready to shift frequency and step fully into your soul's purpose, let's get into it now. On with the show. Okay. Welcome to Supernormalized, Michelle Phillips. We've been trying to get this happening for a while. We had some technical difficulties the last time we tried to hook up and have a good chat. So today it's going to happen by the looks of it. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. It's really fun.
I'm honored to talk to you.
Your podcast, and you're amazing. Yeah.
Well, look, you've got a world of experience that I know that the world needs to hear. So I'm sure we're going to have a very good conversation.
Great. Thank you.
So, Michelle, you say you were born conscious of your connection to God's source and you knew God as your real mummy and daddy. Can you share what that early awareness was like for you as a child? I can relate to it because I went through that sort of experience too at about the age of 3 or 4, and I was standing at the back door of our house and looking out through the screen, and there was an extreme thunderstorm on, and I knew that's the connection to God. And I was like, oh, I know that power. I love that power. Yeah. And that was my connection to God. So tell us your story.
Well, I've always known that God was my real parents. I mean, I used to lay in bed at night and cry myself to sleep. Mommy, Daddy, let me come home. I didn't know what I was doing down here, and I thought I was being punished for some reason because I had to be down here. And certainly to be in the family unit I was in, like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And I could always read people. I always knew what was going on, but I didn't know I was reading people. As a child, when you have that gift or consciousness, you think everyone has it. So I always knew what was going on, and I could always feel if people were telling the truth, if they weren't, so very source.
I can understand that feeling. It's sometimes when I was a child, I used to think that I've been exiled on Earth because I couldn't understand why I'd be given these parents as well. But as you get older, you sort of like come to the understanding of like, wait a minute, I picked this path, and I could only become the person that I am by these people that have molded me through being themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really helps when we matured and really remembered that we chose it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I like to see it as like when we get onto the other side and our time is up, we're sitting there or existing there in some space, and people put in front of us travel brochures and we're like, well, that looks interesting. And then as soon as we agree to it, we're in.
Like, what did I do?
Yeah, I know, I punched the ticket. Here I am.
Really
Yeah,
interesting time down here.
yeah. At just 3 years old, you began taking yourself into past lives. Now, what do you remember about those early journeys and how did they affect your sense of identity?
It really assisted me to even know more so I wasn't from here. Like, what am I
Yeah,
doing?
right. Yeah.
I can remember we were like around 3 and some kids were parents had friends over, whatever, and we're playing hide and go seek, and I'm laying there looking up at the sky, and I just started going into past lives. Um, First I knew, I certainly wasn't from America, I knew I'd lived in England, and when I was younger, I always had kind of this prim and proper, you know, um, energy to me. I no longer have that, but when I was younger, and I knew that I wasn't from this world also.
Mm.
And from a young age, I really started communicating with, those that are off our planet and from other
So,
realities or planets.
yeah, right. So that sense of being from off world, did that come with visions of any other places?
Not so much just feelings of it, more of a
Feeling,
feeling of the loss again of having to be down here and not
yeah.
understanding it at the time. Yeah.
Well, I think that's actually quite normal for a lot of us that actually have that sort of like a DNA sort of remembrance of the past because you're like, when you're in that infinite space, you're so much more being. And so when you get squished down into the really tiny body thing that we live in now,
Yes.
it feels so reduced, and it's like, oh, what did I do? Yeah. Now, you call Jesus your main man, and
Mm.
it sounds like he's a personal guide for you beyond religion or belief systems. How did that unique relationship to Jesus begin for you, and how did it evolve?
It has always been. So again, from
Always
a young
been.
age, yeah, from a young age, he's always been around me and
Yeah.
not through religion because I wasn't raised in religion. I was raised with God though. Um, like the family always played beautiful music and that, with God, but not religion. So he's just always been with me. Like I could talk to him the way I'm talking to you all the time. And then as I got older, after I was going through so much of my own karmic stuff, emotions and all that, and really moved in to start doing my spiritual work. And I was guided to him by him to go to this holistic health college. And this was many years ago, and I didn't even know what holistic health meant, and I thought, I don't want to go there with all those hippies, and he said, go enroll.
Yeah.
I said, "I don't have any money." He said, "Go enroll," because I had divorced my mother. My mother and I had such a challenging relationship, and about the year before I went to the holistic health college, I wrote her a letter and said, "Anyone I can have in my life, that affects me the way I allow you to affect me, I can't have in my life any longer." So I divorced her. So I go to the holistic health college when I'm going through a major breakthrough. At the time, I thought it was a breakdown, losing everything, my identity, everything that I thought I was, a dark night of the soul. And so many people are going through that now. And I think in life we get to go through a few of them. But that was my first major dark night of the soul. And so I enrolled in the health college and I told my brother that I'd enrolled. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, anything. My mother called me and offered to pay my way. He told my mother. So it's interesting in divorcing her, everything we went through. The work I'm doing today actually stems from going to the holistic health college and connecting with people's bodies. And then I could
Mm,
start seeing inside their bodies and what was going on. And
mm. Yeah, it opened up things for you.
yeah, it really did. Yeah,
How
incredible.
how did your spirit team play a role during those challenging times?
Um, They've just always been with me, and a lot of what Jesus said to me at the time, "I can't give you the answers, but I can show you where to find them." So I had to go through all these processes. So the work I do with others is I've been through it myself, and because I've gone through it and come out the other end, a little lighter or wiser or hopefully or whatever, more conscious, then I know to assist others through it.
Mm, mm. Many people
That's how they
fear.
that's how they
Sorry?
teach me. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So many people actually fear their shadow or avoid it. How can embracing the shadow be a gateway to healing and integration?
Okay. Our shadow is us. It's absolutely nothing outside of us. So it's like it's separate from us. So the work that comes through me, again, Jesus, my main man, started taking me through it. I was living in Hawaii at the time, and I went through another dark night of the soul I didn't know if I was going to get through. And once again, he said, I can't give you the answers, but I can show you where to find them. So it was really dark for a couple years. So I really learned about my own shadow and the collective shadow and what's going on in the world. So the work that comes to me, people get to meet their own shadow and then with their whole spiritual team, step inside of it. And because it is you, it's us. And as they step inside of it, then the team will take you back to wherever you're plugged in. Other lifetimes, this lifetime, other places, bases, whatever it can be, because there's a lot of it. Yeah. But then eventually what happens, your shadow and your light merge together. So then your shadow becomes your light's ally instead of pulling against you. So just like we're multidimensional in the light, we are conscious with each other. Our shadow's the same thing. So we want to disconnect our shadow from the collective shadow of what's going on in the world or, other lifetimes or whatever. So as we clear it out, do soul retrieval, everything's soul retrieval, bring the aspects of us back that were trapped wherever, it just closes the door to duality. And again, then the shadow and the light dance together in one energy of love, and shadow
Mm,
supports the light.
mm.
Yeah.
What do you think the shadow is for people?
Right now, I feel like the shadow is so much of what's going on in the world. I mean, it's pretty dark and people are really afraid of it. The shadow and the ego work very much together. So if we've had painful times in our life, and all of us have that are down here at this time, and we're still stuck emotionally in it, then the ego will support us in the pain or whatever we're going through. It'll make it even worse for us. So it's like the ego will take us into places where we think we're grand and better than others or whatever. And if that doesn't work, then it will take us into kind of the poor me, really the victim energy. So it works very much with the shadow and it keeps us stuck there. So there are also a lot of techniques to really disempower the ego because the creator was saying the ego is like a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we can actually wrap it like in this golden blanket that the Creator was showing me, really tight the Christ light, and then bring it into the heart. And as you do, you just feel this peace, bring it into love. It disempowers it. It no longer has power over us. And as that happens, it starts clearing our shadow energy, allows us, the shadow is our pain, the pain body, as Eckhart Tolle is talking about. Like all of this pain, the frozen emotions that's stuck inside of us is our shadow energy.
Mm, mm. You've been called an intergalactic shaman for your multidimensional travels. What have you learned about the interplay of light and shadow across dimensions?
Well, the reason I've been called that is with that dark night of the soul that I went through. So when I
Yeah.
started going through it, Jesus and my team, Ashtar at the time, had physically manifested in the middle of my living room, Ashtar of the Galactic Command. And at first I was really afraid. And I said, Jesus, he said, it's okay. This is Commander Ashtar. So I introduced him to me. And then Ashtar started showing me how to turn my vibration up to the higher dimensions. And then I was doing it in my workshops or whatever. So then they started having me travel with them to different planets, galaxies, all these different places and do soul retrieval for myself, bringing me back, bringing me back. And then one day Jesus said, okay, we want you to go. Now I went, I don't want to go there, by myself. And he said, we're right with you here. So
Mm,
then I learned to go to different bases, in our world. I mean, at the time I was showing what's going on here and other planets or whatever that are very much aligned with our shadow energy here, how they support each other. So in working with others, like I said, when we go into the shadow, at first I would take people in there And usually if I did, there were beings that tried to block me or whatever, so now I'm the spokesperson, but the whole team, when you meet your shadow, you step into it, they just follow it back and start unplugging, 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 multi-dimensionally. So that's why I'm called the Intergalactic Shaman, because we can go to so many different dimensions
Mm.
and
How
bases.
how was that experience for you for when they both turned up physically in your room? I mean, that would have been quite a shock at the time.
Well, this woman had come to me, I've done this work, 100 years. So this was my whole life. This is about 30 years ago. This woman came to me and said it was her first lifetime on this planet. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. I've heard everything. There wasn't a lot known at the time anyway, or at least I didn't know. And she gave me the book, Aliens Among Us by Ruth Montgomery. So the first chapter talks about Ashtar, the Galactic Command. So I'm laying on this couch and I thought, I'm a channel. I'm going to see if I can bring him through. So I asked for him to be with me and I just start shaking kind of like uncontrollably. And when I stop, he had physically manifested in the middle of my living room. The ceiling was there, but I couldn't see the ceiling. I just saw him and I was terrified. And Jesus said, it's okay. This is Commander Ashtar. So then he introduced me to him. And then I started doing the work, and then they took me through the dark night of the soul. And like I said, at times I didn't know if I was going to live through it, but here I am. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
can
even at
understand.
that time, I thought, oh my God, had I remembered I signed up for this, I wouldn't have done it. And I come thinking, this isn't my job. This is a man's job, Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. What's a common misconception about shadow work that you wish more people would understand?
To not be afraid of it because it is us. It absolutely is aspects of us, like of our soul. So if we've had lifetimes that we've served the shadow, and I believe we all have, we've been everything you could possibly do or be. So our shadow in this lifetime is still aligned with that shadow. So we do past lives or whatever, go back, do soul retrieval, bring people out. The shadow is a gift for us, is what my experience of it is. If we can see it as that, we can see the aspects or places in our life where our emotions are frozen, what's going on, what's holding us back from going forward. So as we really understand that, and there's nothing to be afraid of because it's us, and unplug it from the collective shadow. So when I work with people, because there's so much going on in the world. I mean, America is just like, oh my God, right now. And I can see in their bodies. Like when I started my work years ago, I could see inside people's bodies. I could see in the mother's womb what it was like when they started picking up their belief systems and patterns and how they affect them now. And I just started taking people into past lives. And I was coming out of that shadow myself, the dark night of the soul. So as we go into it, as you move out of it, it's light. It's incredible. You usually move in to higher aspects of yourself or your higher purpose here on the earth. So not being afraid of the shadow because it's here to really teach us. It
Mm,
mirrors
mm.
stuff that needs to heal within us.
Right, right. You actually work a lot with past life regression and soul retrieval. How does that process help clients resolve present day challenges?
Okay. My experience and belief is this is a lifetime we've agreed to come full circle. So everything that goes on in this lifetime has a frame of reference someplace else. So when we go back and find the frame of reference, find it, clear it, and do soul retrieval, bring wherever you're stuck back there back into now, it closes the door to whatever's going on in this lifetime. And then we'll go back into this lifetime, wherever it's going on, same thing, and bring your energy back. And always, not just once in a while, but always people will say, oh my God, that's what's going on in this lifetime. The same pattern. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, and
amazing.
it reflects all the way through.
It
Definitely.
does. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, mm,
So it's incredible. And I feel for myself, sometimes it's emotional to be able to assist people on this level.
mm.
It's such a
Yeah,
gift. Yeah, I'm grateful.
yeah. Can you explain DNA heart map healing and how that connects to the Akashic records?
Okay. Um, the creator had shown me, I don't know, many years ago that our heart has a map of every experience we've ever gone through. And I didn't do much with it then, but now it's come back for me to really work with. So the heart, my son, who's in the spirit world, works with me. So he really works with the heart also, with the whole team. So they go in and open the heart up. And again, the heart has every experience, emotion we've ever gone through. So, in opening up, the first thing we experience is this lifetime and all the emotions that are stuck within us. So, as they start clearing that heart map out, they also go into the whole body and system and the spine, the nervous system, open it up and pull out of the nervous system whatever these emotions are that's stuck in this lifetime. And then as they go further back, we can find any pattern, any program you're going through in this lifetime is in the heart's map. So if people are saying, okay, this is what's going on, or whatever, we're going to the map and we can find it. So the map is like the Akashic records also. So when they go into the map, then we will go into the center of the soul and into the records, the Akashic records, and then open them up. Again, they're in the map also, and then do the same thing, start clearing them out of people's bodies and systems, sickness, disease, whatever it is, and then do soul retrieval and cut the cords. So as we go into the heart's map, and you get to stand with your whole spiritual team as you're looking in the map. And after we go through the clearing or start, then the team will activate cords, and there are usually millions of them in us connected to all these old lifetimes or whatever. Cut the cords, clear them out, and then bring the real mother and father, your higher self, who you really are, mother, father, creator's energy, and do soul retrieval once again. So it's like, for me, it's a lot quicker way of doing the work than it used to be. I think for all of us now, our vibration's higher, the techniques coming through, all over the world are just incredible. So it's a
Yeah.
really quick way of getting in and clearing it out and doing soul
Mm.
retrieval.
It sounds like you're rewriting the script without physically leaving the body, and then that shift actually manifests as results in daily life.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Mm,
And
mm,
then in every session that comes to me, workshops or whatever, we always connect people to their inner children. So the inner child, we have a little girl, which is our knowing, our creative, our spiritual, intuitive, and the little boy is the intellect, the ego. It's the will, the part that goes forward in life. And many times that male female aspect of us from the beginning doesn't even know the other one exists. So like when I'll see people and maybe the relationship with a mother when they were born, they didn't feel loved or safe, and maybe they had a stronger connection to the father, then they will come from the male aspects of themselves and vice versa. So when we bring the little girl and little boy to people, it's just amazing the healing that starts taking place from the womb or when they're first born, that balance of the male and female from the beginning of this lifetime. It's amazing
right,
what
right,
happened.
right.
Yeah.
So you've also healed yourself from cancer by working through your ancestral DNA. What insights can you share about inherited trauma and epigenetic healing?
Okay. I would just like to share my experience for a minute. I was diagnosed with cancer. I had 2 biopsies that said I had cancer, and I was going on to Sweden on a tour spiritually, and I just thought, "I don't care, I'm gonna go anyway." And then this friend of mine there that's amazing, that had clinics to heal cancer, and of course, they were closed down, all that, said, "Your cancer spread, you need to get back to Hawaii and take care of yourself." So I started looking at who in my life has had the health problems I've had, and I could see that was my father. So I thought, "I'm gonna see if I can go into his DNA." And it was profound when I was in his DNA, although we know we're an extension of our ancestors and playing everything out. When I was there, it was like, oh my God, I've married my father twice. I really became that pattern. It was incredible that I brought back to me. So
Yeah.
then we went into, because he was in the war, just all of that. Again, soul retrieval, going through the whole father ancestral day DNA, doing soul retrieval, bringing me back into me. And I thought if I can do the fathers, I can do the mothers, same thing. So then I went in for cancer surgery because it was uterine at the time. I thought I don't need it, whatever. I might do it differently now, but I was busy and not a trace of cancer was found. So
Nice.
our DNA is just incredible. I mean, we're playing out every experience, as we know, not just from our parents, but their parents, their parents. I mean, all the way back. So as we clear it out of us, it does clear for generations backwards and forwards. It's
Mm, mm,
incredible. Yeah.
mm,
And shifts our cells, our tissues, our organs. People absolutely start healing from it.
mm. How would you guide someone who is skeptical or unfamiliar with the concepts like soul retrieval or DNA reprogramming?
Well, I have people come to me and I mean, they don't believe in past lives or whatever. And I just say to them, it doesn't even make any difference if you believe. Let's just go in and clear it. And I mean, afterwards, it clears, and that's what's important, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I always tell people, look, you don't have to believe in spirits for them to actually affect you. So,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so you've authored 5 books described as DNA activators. What does DNA activation really mean for the reader or student?
Okay. Because I've channeled the books and I am dyslexic, as you know, when we're trying to set it up before, it didn't work. Um, so I think the gift, I'll explain, I think the gift of channeling these books was I don't even read much, which doesn't mean I don't want you to read, not read, or buy my books or whatever. But because of being dyslexic, I don't read much. So when the creator channeled the first book, The Creator Speaks Through Me, I went, you must be kidding, you know? So I think the gift of it is, and now I've done 5 books. The gift of it is we have so many gifts inside of us that are just waiting to be opened up. So the more we clear out who we're not, who we are, we start connecting to who we are in other dimensions and start integrating with them. These gifts are going to come through. So the books, because they come from creation, from the creator, from the masters, the angels, the archangels, they're really high vibration or frequency. So then reading them or whatever, you can feel it. It absolutely shifts your system. It shifts the DNA. You can feel your cells. It's almost like the cells become crystal. They become light.
Mm, mm, mm. Can you share a powerful healing mantra that you received recently and explained how listeners might use that in their own practice?
Okay. I received this mantra again, maybe 10 years ago, and didn't do much with it. And then I was with a friend, we're down at the water, and we're talking, and it just came through again. Amna Shinal Ambe Nam. And so now we're chanting it like in my workshops when we take people through whatever process, then we'll chant it at the end, and it just goes in and starts clearing everything out of people. It's incredible. And then Ray Shinam. So that clears it out. And then Ray Shinam downloads the higher light after you've been cleared out. It's incredible.
Nice.
So when I was on a tour last year, my friend and I were chanting every night, and I was having problems with my hip walking, and I'm on a tour. I need to walk. So I said, okay, I'm going to chant into my hip and see what's going on here. Incredible. What happened is every relationship I've had with men, and I've had a few, started moving the emotions. I could see the stories of it. I could see the pictures of it all the way back to my father. Just started clearing out of my hip, and I was fine, instantly fine.
Wow, that's
Yeah, they're
cool.
just, yeah, there's so many ways to heal right now. It's incredible. It's exciting.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you've probably actually seen it in your own life that, way back when, um, even only 30 years ago, any of this stuff we're talking about right now was considered kooky,
It
right? And
was.
that's the part of the reason why I started this podcast because people need to hear about this stuff and it's actually
Yeah.
becoming normalized. So hence, super normalized. So I'm glad to actually hear
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that this information is changing people's lives.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's incredible. Because when I started, people thought I was nuts, crazy. I
Mm,
mean, my family certainly did, but Now they know I am, but they don't care, so
Yeah, you get to that place like, "Whatever. If you don't believe it,
yeah,
doesn't matter to me. You do whatever you like."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So your work spans many modalities from pineal gland activation to timeline healing. If someone is just starting their spiritual journey, what modality would you recommend first and why?
Absolutely, the pineal gland activation. So all
Okay.
the work that comes through me in private sessions, workshops, or whatever, we always open the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is your DNA connection to God and source. So when you go up and where the creator, spirit's taking us now is through the new world, the new earth, and into what they're calling beyond the beyond, where there's no story. And so as you move up through the pineal gland into spirit, God, whatever you want to call God or creation to be, then it's very easy to make the connection. And when we do, then we will immediately bring the feminine aspect of God or creation, whatever people's beliefs are, into them. And then they'll just feel, oh my God, the love of the feminine that they've never felt before in their life. And then we do the same thing with the male aspect of God or creation. But I think the pineal gland is so important because it's your DNA connection to the source. And
Yeah.
through there, they're going to start communicating, if people are open to it.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do you actually activate it? I mean, what techniques do you like to use?
Well, when I started many years ago, I was with a group and Jesus, my man, was talking to me, showing me how to do it. And then I was doing it in a way where I would actually go around the group. It took time because I was learning also, and I would open the pineal gland with my finger. And it was incredible to watch this DNA, all the beautiful colors open up and move into the highest connection or God or spirit. And what also was interesting, like some people's pineal gland would, yes, take me. It's like they were so wanted to be in the higher consciousness. The pineal gland remembers that it's the connection to God. And then I'd work with other people and it would be like struggle. And I would talk to the pineal gland. Okay, sweetheart, you're okay. You're safe here. Whatever it needed to here, and then we would open it up that way. So it's just been amazing. And now, in private sessions, I mean, spirit just comes and opens. In workshops, the whole team comes in and opens people's pineal glands. So at
Mm.
first, I needed to again learn and to really experience what the pineal gland looks like, and what it feels like, or whatever.
Mm. Have you ever used the mantra to open up the pineal gland?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I just thought of it before. I was like, well, that could work for that probably. So, yeah, cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, your workshops take people through intense experiences like ancestral line clearing and shadow integration. How do you create a safe container for such deep transformation so people can actually express so easily?
Um, It just is safe because we have the whole spiritual team with us. I have never done a workshop where people haven't felt safe. It just feels like the whole spiritual team, my team and other people's, spiritual team, feels like they just come into the room and wrap like this, like I said, container, like blanket of love around people. It's
Mm.
incredible. And now my son that works with me also, after he passed, and oh my God, I was so heartbroken. Even with what I know spiritually, I didn't know if I was going to get through it. But then he started showing up in my workshops, and people would say, he was Frank. Well, Frank said, and I went, what? So he would go into the heart, talk to them, they could see him with them or whatever, So it was fun at the time, amazing, and he still works with me, and he's very humorous, when you're on the other side, yeah, he has a great sense of humor. So people can really feel that light and humor also in the workshop.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
But
is.
when people realize that, our past loved ones often turn into a part of our spirit team and are able to actually access that. It's so healing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The relationship I had with my mother that was so challenging, oh my God. After my son passed, and I didn't know if I was gonna get through it, even though I have an understanding and I've counseled many people that have lost loved ones. And now that I've gone through it myself, I look back and I think probably some of the stupid things I'd said to people, from my from my teachings or whatever, and loved ones from the other side. It's real easy. I'm a medium to bring loved ones through. Um, but I didn't know if I was going to get through it. And I was in Sweden on my tour and I was staying in this cabin. And so I left a note for whoever was going to find me the next day because I was leaving. I said, please contact my brother in California, whatever. So the next morning, I'm still in my body, but more there. And I hear, Michelle, listen to me. This is your mother. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if things aren't bad enough, now my mother's here, but kept me in my body. So she stayed with me and our energies were very different. So she stayed with me until the last workshop I did in Stockholm. And we went into the mother ancestral DNA, then she shifted. And I realized she stayed with me to keep me in my body. But when I left and came back, to Sedona area, she and I just became such great friends. And one morning I just felt like, oh, my mother's my hero. So she really healed it with me from the other side.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it takes crossing for the challenging relationships to change.
Yeah.
It seems like that energy gets transmuted quite quickly once they cross over.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I forgot I
Yeah,
was
yeah. Oh, wait, maybe
there.
she was
Yeah.
telling my own daughter was telling me all the truth in the first place. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
so
Yeah.
what daily practices or tools would you suggest for maintaining high vibrational states amid everyday challenges?
I would say the first thing is open the pineal gland, go into spirit.
Yeah,
So I have this prayer that I say. Would it be okay if I bring it through?
yeah, for sure. If you want to.
Yeah, okay. So going through the whole core, out the top of the head, the pineal gland, for those of you that are watching, your whole team's with you, opening it up now, moving through the new world, the new earth, and into beyond the beyond. Okay. And just say, Mother, Father, God, Creator, the I am of all that is. I now set the intention and command that every cell of my body, that all consciousness, unconsciousness, subconsciousness, collective consciousness of my being now awakens, knows, and remembers that my heart is your heart, that my mind is your mind. All that you are, I am. And I now experience all life through the Christ I am, Holy Spirit of all that is. And then thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. And so it is. Can you feel this in your system at all? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. Thank you for
It's
sharing.
very powerful. It is.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
do
Puts you into a deep trance and connective trance.
Yeah. So I
Mm,
always start my day like that and then bring my higher self to me and my inner children, little girl, little boy, talk to them and validate, validate, validate. So the more your inner children feel loved and safe and secure, we the adult does. Because we experience everything through the emotions of the child. When they feel safe, we start feeling safe also. So for me, starting my day like that.
yeah,
And
that
then
sounds.
also bringing spirit to your whole spiritual team to you. And it's important because, like it was saying, when I've worked with people, I can always tell if they watch the news. I can see it in the body, their system. I can see gray energy there or whatever, because we're always, the creator says, we're always, always matching and merging with our environment. So if you're watching negative, and I know it's hard not to, I mean, it's designed to pull us into it, fear based. But if you're watching it, your whole system's matching and merging with it. And anything that's in the etheric body is going to come into the physical body, and you're going to end up sick from it. So I was working with this woman that's in so much pain. I said, do you watch the news? I could see it. She goes, oh, all the time. I said, well, it's affecting you physically.
Yeah, it sounds like that during this collective dark night leading to ascension and oneness we're all going through, that process just itself would actually
Mm,
assist with people navigating those massive energetic shifts by actually keeping yourself centered throughout all of it.
absolutely. And match and merge with the highest, match and merge with people that are going forward in life,
Yeah,
because the whole system's always, always matching and merging with its environment. So what do you want? Match and merge with that. And
exactly,
like
exactly.
and like I said, I know it's challenging right now because for me, I mean, I have to watch the news once in a while to know what's going on, for my work, but it's really easy to be pulled into it also, and that's what it's designed to do, so
Yeah, well, I think that a part of the animal nervous system that we actually have, it's a little apocalyptic. We're always looking out for that lion.
mhm,
So, when you watch the news, you're like, "Oh, here comes the lion!"
yeah,
Better watch out for that lion. Better tell everyone about the lion. That's
yeah,
just what happens, right? So that's how it
yeah.
hooks you in. But you don't have to actually sit in that energy all the time. Otherwise, you live in a state of continuous anxiety.
Oh my god. And sickness, it creates the yeah, sickness and disease in the physical body from it because it's
Absolutely.
fear-based. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean that fear-based sort of energy causes all sorts of dramas, including some sort of even like an escapism from it too. You're like, well, I'm going to die anyway, so I might as well just eat all this food, for example. you know,
Or have another drink.
Have
Yeah,
another drink. Well, I'm going to die tomorrow. Might as well kill myself now. Yeah. So, but yeah, people wake up from that, and they move
yeah,
into out of that collective dark night just by being more aware of themselves and basically changing their frame of reference.
absolutely.
Mm,
In my family, there are 5 of us kids, siblings, and we're really close, thank God. But we definitely have different spiritual beliefs and, political beliefs. So
that's
I
good.
have one brother that's very fundamentalist, and years ago, he wouldn't even let his kids around me because he thought I was doing the devil's work, whatever, anyway. But we've come out of it, and we have a great time together. We do not talk politics or religion, and we
Yeah,
have fun
you
together.
just know after a while what not to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, as we co create heaven on earth, what practical steps can people take to embody the vision right now?
So again, for me, it's like, what do you want in your life? The first way, the pineal gland, and even going up there and setting the intention, because the creator's taking us beyond the beyond where there is no story. Like, what
Mm,
is the story that we would like to have in our lives? Set that intention, and it's going to come into your system, your cells, your tissues, your organs.
mm.
So act as you're already there.
Yeah,
Act as,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, resonate with the highest, and then you can only do the highest.
Right, absolutely.
Mm,
And from that, the magic of what starts coming into your life, because like attracts like. As you're
mm,
connecting to the highest, you think, and spirit, God, whatever you want to call God to be, our whole team, the universe, you're going to bring it back to you. Just miracles happen all the time from that.
yeah. What's a message from Jesus or the Creator that you think is or feel is most urgent for humanity right now?
Love. And sometimes, when I hear love, it feels like it's so overrated, but it isn't. It's the essence of all of it right now. I mean, everyone's talking about love. Absolutely, like moving out of the fear and into the love, into our hearts, and really experiencing everyone on the earth plane as us. Because in the higher dimensions, before we split and came down as individual souls or cells, we're actually cells, but we call ourselves souls. We're one consciousness. So, what we're doing in the ascension right now is my understanding and experience of it. We're moving back into that oneness. And as we start moving back into the oneness, and the shadow individually and collectively is going to do everything it can to divide us. So really staying in the highest consciousness of God creation. And from that, your perceptions are going to start changing in
Yeah.
life.
Mm,
And as your perceptions change, your love starts changing for people. You start having love and compassion for people that maybe, before you looked down on or couldn't understand or whatever. Everything is about perception right now from the heart. So what they're
Mm,
saying is stay connected to the highest of who we are. And again, as you do, that frequency is going to shift your energy, it shifts your DNA, shifts your whole system. And from that, your perception of love is going to, your heart's going to open up to so much love for
mm,
others.
mm.
And
Yeah.
oh my God, right now, self love. It's hard to
Mm.
love others if we, don't care about ourselves much.
True, absolutely. I think that in time you do actually get to a point where you have an ultimate sort of empathy towards people because you understand that pretty much most of the what you perceive as behavior which is distasteful in some way, it's usually
Mhm.
all comes from trauma, and they
It
and
does.
sometimes that trauma isn't even this lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Mm.
another thing the creator's talking about in the book is the earth is a hologram. It's playing out all these end times here. So which end time, do we want to vibrate in?
Yeah,
So, I mean, ours is, the highest consciousness ascension, sifting the planet, all this. But then you have souls or people, whatever, that are in lower consciousness. And it doesn't mean that they're wrong, although we look at it as that. It's their soul has agreed to play that out in this lifetime
yeah, yeah. That's right.
collectively.
I
Yeah,
was going to say we all play our role at
we do.
different levels,
And collectively.
and
So
collectively. Yeah,
when you understand that, I mean, still having love and compassion and what's going on is horrific with a lot of it, but send love. Connect to the higher self of everyone that's going through this right now
yeah,
so that
definitely.
they don't feel alone and it starts shifting them also.
Mm. You've worked with clients who suddenly have memories of missing time or UFO encounters during sessions. How do those phenomena actually connect with their path in spiritual awakening?
Well, after Ashtar connected to me, with me and the whole team, I had people starting to come to me because my vibration was higher. And they'd say, I had missing time or I saw a UFO and I didn't even remember it until I came in here. And then I could see inside people's bodies. I could see the implants, the programmings, whatever that were going on. And then this surgical team came to me called the Etherians that work directly with Ashtar. And in those days, this was 30 years ago, I would put my hand over people and they would dematerialize the programming that's going on in people, the implants or whatever. And then I also started realizing my abduction as a child. So it started making sense to everything I had gone through as a child also. So this is 30 years ago, and not much was known about it. I mean, then people really thought I was out there. I was living in Hawaii. There were maybe 5 of us doing the work, and then people said, "Oh, Michelle Phillips has gone off the deep end." I knew I hadn't, but most crazy people don't think they are. So they don't. um, so what's going on now? It's pretty mainstream.
Yeah.
Back then it was like, "Oh my god," but so many people, I mean, are really having the experiences and the memories of it now. So there's so many ways to really shift out of it, to go
Mm.
back to the programming of what was done when they were abducted or whatever, where we can go back into the experience of it, unplug them. And what I've also experienced in working with people like this, so many projections are sent to people. So, like, if you're in one of the ships and they're doing whatever they're doing, they will also project to you, like Mother Mary or Jesus or whatever. So you think it's the higher light and it's not. So, because of that, many times, and people think, oh, Jesus is with me, Mother Mary, whatever. And so they don't quite understand what's going on with them. So, when I'm working with people, I can see, I mean, even the shadow or the dark has a light. So I can see when it's like the shadow light or when it's what I call the Christ, because the Christ is my man, energy. The Christ, I am light. So if it's the dark light, the shadow light, you feel peaceful. but you don't expand. If it's the Christ, I am light, you feel peaceful, but your energy opens up and expands. So I feel like now there's so many ways that people can find those that have had the experience and that are working with people that are going through this. So many
Mm,
years ago, I mean, like 30 years ago, when I realized all the abduction stuff I'd gone through and all that, I was going to all the UFO conventions and everything, and then it was like, "Oh my god, secret." I mean, now it's out, like
yeah.
everyone, "Hey, I was abducted. I was, whatever," you know?
Join the gang.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, if you could gently challenge one popular spiritual belief or trend today, what would that be?
Very popular spiritual belief. Um, so many people feel like we are cloned aspects. I don't know. I mean, you've probably heard people talk about this, and I experience it in the work that I do going back, But I feel like we have the choice here of what we want to connect with, who we want to be, and really connecting to the highest consciousness of God or creation, that we are not losing the planet. And so many people are so in fear, like, oh God, we're losing the planet or whatever. We're
Yeah.
shifting. We're shifting through a collective dark night of the soul within ourselves and the world. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, our earth has gone through horrific things before we shift out of it. But now, because we're ascending into higher vibrations of ourself, it's more intense than it's ever been because the light, individually, collectively, is hitting anything inside of us that needs to heal. So, and anytime the light is this high, and people don't think it is, but it is. So Jesus and my son Frank took me to the higher dimensions, and I was sitting there with them, and I was looking out over these, like if you could see the ocean waves, well, these were dimensions of all these beautiful colors and waves, and I was seeing these huge crystals, and Jesus said, see those crystals? That's a consciousness that's waking up on the earth. And now when I go there, oh my God, you cannot even see individual crystals. All you see is light. I mean, there are people waking up here that I never thought were going to wake up, but
Yeah, I
it's
know
a
what you mean.
day. It's being
Mm,
activated. Yeah. So we're
mm,
not losing the planet. We're just going through a dark night of the shift, and it'll probably get darker before it's light, but it
mm.
will get light because we're together shifting it.
Yeah. If people think this is the end that's coming, they've got to
Oh,
just open their vision a lot more because this is just, like literally the opening of the womb as we're about to be born.
yeah, absolutely. We're definitely
Mm,
in a death and a rebirth now.
absolutely.
And either one of it is challenging, and we're going through both at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, true, true, true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finally, what does freedom mean to you on your soul's journey?
It's interesting because freedom for me, ever since I can remember as a child, was freedom, 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 even when I didn't know what it meant. It's just moving, freedom for me now is moving out of all the karmic agreements and contracts and just coming back into the one heart of love. Um, Moving out of this lifetime journey, everything I agreed to go through, and move into the heart of who I really am, the highest
Mm,
consciousness of God or creation, who I am in spirit, really integrating with my higher self in this lifetime now. For me, that's freedom. Moving out of the story, moving out of all of it, and just becoming the one heart again
mm.
of love.
Yeah, that's a beautiful message. Michelle, we've come towards the end of the podcast now. How can people find you and your books?
Okay, my books are on Amazon. You're in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Amazon. I don't sell them off my site any longer because I have to mail them all that stuff. So, soulsawakening.com is my website. And then Michelle Phillips, Souls Awakening, is on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah.
Excellent. All
And
right. I'll provide some links down below for everyone to find you. Thank you so much for coming on and explaining your understanding of your work and the importance of co-creation and the importance of, enlightening ourselves by opening our pineal glands and personal growth in a soul connective way.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for your patience.
All right. I'll just say goodbye to the listeners.
Okay, thank you, CJ.
Wow. Michelle shared a lot there. I really liked her mantra. I'm going to give that a go myself. And in fact, I'm going to try and work that one on my pineal gland, see if I can pop it open even more so to connect even deeper. And I am also thinking about her morning sort of like connective prayer, which is a call for the connection to the higher self in all possible ways, in all possible parts of your life. So that really resonated with me. So I'm going to write that one out for myself and start up and see what happens when I do it. So if you've enjoyed today's show, remember to like and subscribe. And if you're on a podcast app and listening, please give us 5 stars and share the show to someone, just one person you think might actually enjoy this as well. So thank you so much for listening. Until next episode, we'll see you next time or hear you next time. Bye for now.
Okay. So, everyone, this is such an amazing podcast. So, please click on the link down below here.